What is up, Nickel City Mafia? Welcome to another episode of Wednesday Night Bills Tailgate. I'm Mike Thornton. That's Jake Podger. We're going to get into it. We're going to be talking about the upcoming preseason game. And man, are we super excited. This is Jake's favorite time of the year, one of his favorite times of the year, and that's preseason. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So let's go. Buffalo. Let's get into these things right now. So first, we got a giveaway going on, Jake. I mean, you mentioned it on the last show, but this is a special giveaway. We're giving away 2 Madden 24 games, and we're giving them the premium. I know they have the, I don't know what they're called. There's 2 different versions, but we're giving away the best version, which is the premium version, which comes with all the bells and whistles. And we pretty much just made it simple. We said, hey, we don't, we're not begging for subscriptions. If you want to subscribe to our channel, please do. But we like to give back to folks. So all you got to do is leave a comment on 2 shows. 2 shows. And when you leave a comment, put Madden in the comment. Because some people, they don't want the Madden game. They just want to talk to us, Jake. So they'll leave other comments. But if you're interested in that Madden game, just drop a comment. You can put just Madden in there or put something, put a sentence with the word Madden. And you do 2 of those, 2 of our shows, you got an entry. So let's go. We're giving that away next week, 8/20 at 9 p.m. The official release to the public is the 18th. And I know if you pre-ordered it, they're available for folks on the 15th. But Jake, pretty exciting, right? Your guy, our guy, Josh Allen on the cover, Madden 24. I can't wait to get it. There he is.
Yep.
Josh was nice enough to join us. But yeah, that's it. Just 2 of them. And we're going to announce the winners on that Sunday. So super excited for that. Can't wait to get that game and play my young son here, Jonah. He's now officially a Bills fan this year because Josh Allen's on the cover of Madden, because we know the story. If you've been with us, you know the story of how Jonah kind of swayed away or went away from the Bills. He was a Raven fan only because Lamar was on the cover. Now that Josh Allen is on the cover of this year, he's changing teams. Like, it's always been his second favorite team, the Bills, but I got him to say the Bills are his number 1 team, Jake. That's big for any dad.
That's huge.
For any dad. And again, second, let's talk about, hey, if you're new to our channel, please like, comment, and drop a nickel on that subscribe button for us. It's absolutely free. We appreciate your support, and we're able to do fun things like this. You just giving us a like helps us get into the YouTube algorithm, gets our content out there, more views, and helps us, again, be able to do fun giveaways like we're doing with the Madden 24. So what else we got to talk about, Jake? Got a few things to go through with you. The Bills release their first unofficial depth chart, right? And we're not going to go through that in detail. There's been a lot of channels that just beat that to death. They did a great job, but I don't want to go into every position. But I'll go into the positions that we've been talking about all during training camp. Everything, it lines up exactly with what we've been talking about, Jake. And I'll start with the cornerback situation where it's wide open. Cornerback 2 is wide open for Benford, Jackson, and Elam. For me at this point, man, I love the situation that we have 3 guys that can be potential starters. We've talked with some folks that said maybe they rotate that. We had Timmy on the show last week. He says, maybe we have a rotation based on who we're going against. I don't have a favorite. I guess if I had to pick a favorite, it'd be Elam or Benford, just the younger guys. But Dane Jackson's not giving, up any ground. He's working hard for that starting position. So real quick, I'll throw it to you. What's your thoughts on that? It's what we've been talking about all offseason here during training camp.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, again, it's not a bad problem to have. I'm super fired up, honestly, to be honest with you, that Christian Benford, again, is looking like he did last year in the preseason, basically running away with a potential starting job. Heard a lot of really good things out of him, specifically in camp. And the best part about him is that he eventually may be our safety too in the future. You just don't know. He could be a starting corner, could be a starting safety. So what he gives you is so unique. And, it's not that those other guys aren't playing well, because I've heard some good stories about Kyer Elam as well in camp. And then obviously Dane Jackson looks great. He's almost like the forgotten one that has just been kind of left alone here. You got to remember, Dane Jackson started some very meaningful games in the NFL too. So, really excited to see what happens in terms of repetitions on Saturday. I don't know how often we're going to see the starters. or how much they'll actually be in, maybe a series on defense. I know last year, I believe the offensive line was mainly the starting offensive line last year, and I think the defensive line was kind of a mix and match, and then it sort of went the same way with corners and safeties and that stuff too. So, yeah, I think on defense, there's a lot more to prove. There's a lot more position battles, in terms of where the depth is. So you probably will see a majority of the backups playing in this first game, as that's how it normally is anyways. It's usually that second game that you'll see majority of the starters in, and then the last game is just all guys that are basically on the bubble. So, yeah, I'm really excited for it, Mike. I can't wait. What a fitting title for this Wednesday show, Wednesday Night Bills Tailgate. This is a few days in advance, of course, but I am so excited. I'll be watching this game at a Bills backers bar in Pittsburgh on a bachelor party. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you about that in a second, so remind me. But Jules Marie out there, I must say I'm totally Madden. I love it about about you guys just saying. Hey, Jules, make sure you put that in the actual comment section after not in the live chat. That way it stays there and we see it, and you get you get entry. I know you've been putting comments all along, so we appreciate
you, Jules. Yeah,
very much, very much. Jules has been a long time subscriber of the show. We got Go Bills podcast out there. Brett, thanks for joining us as always. Tom S., always good to see you. He says this is the most wonderful time of the year.
That it is.
Yeah, right there with Christmas.
That's right. I couldn't agree more.
And then Red, White, and Bills, can all my previous comments count, even though I didn't put Madden? Nah, we're going to put Madden because I don't want to give this away to somebody who doesn't play Madden. So all you got to do is go back to 2 shows, Sean, and this show for one, put it in the comment section, not the live chat, and just put Matt in there. But Jules probably had the best saying right there. Absolutely love that. Must say I'm totally Madden about you guys. Love it.
Make me blush, Jules.
Yeah, I know. Look at he is blushing a little bit. The other battle that the depth chart shows is, again, another one we've been talking about, Tyrel Dotson and Terrell Bernard. And so, again, at this point, we've beat this to death, I think. It's now just let's see who performs in preseason. I would expect the 3 corners that we talked about to be playing during preseason. I would expect these 2 guys, these middle linebackers, to be playing in the preseason. And whoever wins it, wins it. I'm good with either. I don't have a favorite at the middle linebacker position. I did before draft. That was Jack Campbell, but that didn't happen. My dreams flew away. And so it's Tyrel Dotson or Terrell Bernard. So let's see what happens. Bernard was the 3rd round pick last year. He's just a little smaller. He's a smaller guy than Dotson. Why don't you talk about those two and how they differ slightly and what they bring?
Yeah, well, I'll say this. Terrell Bernard is that hybrid, almost safety linebacker combo. I mean, he only weighs about 217 pounds. From what I've heard, he's put on a little bit of weight. He's trying to at least fill out a touch, to play that middle linebacker position. But he is not your prototypical standard middle linebacker that you have seen in the past. And you got to remember, too, NFL defenses are changing. And I think for the Bills running a base nickel, it's important to have a guy that can not only cover, but a guy that's really athletic, maybe a little more nimble, can run sideline to sideline, cover some backs out of the backfield, and maybe even take on a slot receiver from time to time. So when you look at Terrell Bernard's skill set, especially when he came into the NFL, he was known for that. He was known for his coverage skills. He was also known for being able to rush the passer a little bit, being able to send him up the middle, even send him off the edge a little bit. And a guy that could really play kind of all over the field, up on the line of scrimmage, off the line of scrimmage, almost play as like a safety rover type of player as well. So it's really exciting when you hear all of these things. It's just, of course, last year we didn't see a whole lot of that at all. And you scratch your head because you draft this guy in the 3rd round, and he's supposed to be the successor of Tremaine Edmonds, and that's what we were thinking last year. But then we go ahead and we take Dorian Williams this year. So people are really confused, I feel like, with what's going on in the Bills' office, like whether they have faith in Terrell Bernard or not. But from what I've been hearing, he has had an incredible camp, and he's looked better, and he put on some weight, looks bigger, looks stronger, faster, all of that. So all good news there. Then you talk about Tyrel Dotson, who does have experience in the defense. He started a couple games as well. He's kind of like more of an old school thumper. His coverage skills aren't necessarily as good as Terrell Bernard's, in my opinion. But I think with him knowing the defense, bringing that veteran leadership to the team as well, super important. And, I think that's that's really what gives him a little bit of an edge, to be honest with you. And of course, the fact that he plays special teams extremely well. He's been one of our better special teams players over the last few years too. So, yeah, really intriguing matchup for sure. But don't forget about Balin Spector, Mike. Listen, I know I said he was going to be a surprise cut for me, and it killed me to say it, but I had to make room for all of my necessary players to make the team, right? But I'm not going to write him off either. I really think that, with what he showed last year's preseason, he should capitalize on that this year. So really excited to see what happens there. And then, Dorian Williams learning behind Matt Milano, it's the best thing for him. I think this is a guy that's just a really good football player. And I'll say it again, he's going to find a way to get on the field. They're going to have to put him on the field because he's just too good of a football player.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I love what Dorian Williams brings. And, I get it. I mean, first year taking over a position in the NFL that requires a lot. Let's give him a chance. Let's let him work with Milano, back up Milano, because we know Milano always hasn't been injury free throughout his career. It's usually a game or two. And Dorian's gonna get on the field, Jake, 100%. Tom out there, he was at the red and white Bills scrimmage, and he said the crowd went wild for Hamlin. Hamlin looked amazing. Yeah, that's another.
I've heard he's had a strong camp, man. I know some people are like, I don't want to be on this fairy tale train all year long. I mean, how could you not want to be on that train though? With how good he's looked, and I mean, he's basically a lock to win comeback player of the year. This is a guy that's not going to let anything stand in his way. He literally died on the field. Like, what is it now? It was in January, so we're talking 7 months ago. This guy was on the field, resuscitated, brought back to life for like a second, and then he was basically in a coma, from what I understand, for a few days. And he wakes up, and here he is. And it's like, if this is the driving motivation for the Bills, then let it be. Like, let that be the case. Like, I know this guy wants to play football. There's no question in my mind, no question in his mind, it sounds like. So I'm all here for it, and it's awesome news to hear, man.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. It's going to be, the most amazing story of all time. There'll be documentaries written about this. It's just special. It's a special thing to see and get behind him that he's coming back. I'm so impressed with that young guy.
It's crazy,
Can't say
man.
enough.
Yeah.
I do want to say, too, another little bit surprise, not a surprise for me, but I'm glad to see this on the unofficial depth chart is Khalil Shakir and Deontay Hardy, not Trent Sherfield. No Trent Sherfield there.
Listed as an outside receiver, which is really interesting. Yeah.
So as we said, I mean, Jake, we had a ton of people interested in that little video clip that we took when we did the show with Timmy about why is no one talking about Khalil Shakir? Well, apparently you showed me a message that McDermott was talking about him in a press conference, right? Can you kind of go over what he had said there?
Basically, just he's a pro's pro. He's been coming to camp. He's looking strong. He's looking better. Then I hear today, kind of backtracking on that he's fallen out of favor with Ken Dorsey. So I don't know what to believe. Now, the media side is saying that he's fallen out of favor with Ken Dorsey, but Sean McDermott and the coaches seem to be saying the total opposite. So I'm going to believe what the coaches say, and I know you got to take everything with a grain of salt, of course. They don't want to show their cards too much. But expect this young man to have an incredible preseason. I think he's going to go off like he did last year, and it's going to be one of those situations where he has to be a lock for the roster.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's funny because you hear two sides of the story, right? You hear someone saying, like, okay, look, who was throwing the ball to him if they're saying he dropped it? Was there good coverage? Give credit to the corner who might have been covering him. And so there's a lot of factors, but we finally get to see it on the field this Saturday. So let's go. And let's see here. I want to see this. I think it was the Trek reviewer. Did someone not beat me up on one of the shows when I was talking about Cam Lewis making this team? Wasn't it when we were doing the 53-man active roster?
It was the Trek reviewer, by the way. It was
the Trek reviewer.
Our good friend.
Where is he? Because let me tell you, I am 100% confident that Cam Lewis is making the squad. 100% confident.
Me too.
Nothing but good talk coming out of camp. He's versatile. He can play corner. He can play the slot corner. He can play safety. He can play special teams. Everything you want in a player, and he does it well. So, Trek reviewer, waiting for you, man. I'm waiting for your apology. Come on.
I think the only thing you have to worry about with that is, do we keep 5 safeties? Because, you have to factor in Damar Hamlin, of course. We have Taylor Rapp. We have those three. Taylor Rapp, Jordan Poyer, and Micah Hyde are absolutely making this roster. There's no doubt in my mind that they will be on the Bills and they will be having significant roles, of course. But who are those other two? Is it Damar Hamlin and then Cam Lewis then, or is it just going to be one of those guys? So it's a really interesting question to ask, and I think with what I've heard with Cam, yeah, he's had an awesome camp, and this is a guy that knows the defense well. So, yeah, I think maybe we do keep 5, Mike, and maybe even is like a situation where we put to like Damar Hamlin on the PUP list, which, I mean, it would be kind of weird to see him on the PUP list because right now he's full go with everything. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think Saron Neal and Dean Marlowe, as you say, Go Bills podcast are on the bubble right now.
Mm-hmm.
I know Cam Lewis got a little dinged up. I think it was a groin injury is what I'm hearing.
Yep.
He's day-to-day. And what's the other one? Our left tackle. Who's our left tackle? What's his name?
Dan Dawkins?
Escaping me. Yeah, Dawkins. Dawkins was dinged up his hand. He's day-to-day as well. So what we got there? Shakira Locke, in my opinion, yes.
Scott, I love
absolutely.
it, brother. Good to see you, man. Always a pleasure, my friend.
All right, so here's kind of a little surprise. What for most folks, not me, Bates is currently slotted in as the starter. It's not even like when there's battles on this unofficial depth chart, they've got them like right together
in that spot,
right? Yeah. And right now it is Bates. And I've thought about this, and I know everyone we've asked. I know you think it. I know a lot of folks said, and I said maybe week 3 he gets in there, and that's Torrance. But I'm changing my opinion there because let me give you a little scenario. Jake, you're the right guard for the Buffalo Bills last year. You started. Didn't have a great season, but none of that line. That if you look at PFF, that whole line struggled, which will make you struggle as well, right? And so if you're the starter last year, Jake, and I come to you as McDermott, I say, or Dorsey, Jake, you're so versatile. We want to keep you safe. I'm going to take you out of the starting lineup. I just want you to sit on the bench and be ready to go. You're versatile. You can play at any position, and you can do that for years, Jake. And odds are that you'll stay healthy because you'll have less playing time on the field. And he did get paid decent, and I'm sure he would get paid pretty well being that versatile. But if he's the starting right guard for the Buffalo Bills and he's still versatile, his payday goes way up. So, Jake, if I'm telling you this, what are you going to say to me? You're going to say, sure, coach. Yeah, I'll do whatever you want. Put me on the bench. And, and then when the Bills win the Super Bowl and they say, what part did you play in that victory? You'll say, well, I sat on the bench. I was kind of the reserve guy that came off when someone was injured. Or I was the starting right guard for the Buffalo Bills. And at times, I had to move over to center. Or at times, I had to move over, maybe even tackle. Jake, that's my thoughts there. This guy, he's not going to say, sure, he wants to be a starter. And I know you would. I know I would. I mean, if coach tells me, I'm like, why, coach? Can you if he beats me out, fair and square. Great. I appreciate that. But I hear so many folks saying, let's just take him out. Let's rest him. Let's think about what Bates, his perspective. Let's come at it from his perspective. So I don't know. That's my thought. I'm like, if he beats him fair and square. And then I went back to saying, if he beats him fair and square, Jake, why? Bates stays as the starter the whole year unless he's injured or unless he's doing a horrible job. Anyhow, that's my opinion. Let me throw it to you.
Yeah, if that's the case, I think you still find a way to get Osiris Torrance in on like a heavy package or something like that, because from what I've been hearing, and this is kind of the knock on him a little bit, although he didn't allow a single sack this past year. I don't even know if he did in his entire collegiate career, but from what I've been hearing in terms of run blocking, he's looked fantastic. Pass blocking, he's struggled quite a bit. So, in my opinion, if you make that happen where Ryan Bates is the starter, which I would be okay with, I totally understand it. I mean, the guy's been solid. He hasn't been great by any means, but I think he's proven enough where, of course, he deserves the first shot. You got to find a way to still get Osiris Torrance on the field, whether it be a heavy package or, something along those lines, because I think he's too good in that area, especially of the run game, where you can't just leave him on the bench for that. I feel like there's got to be a way to get him on the field. So Yeah, although it could be telling to defenses too, so you don't want to necessarily show your cards too much with that. But yeah, no, it's definitely an intriguing battle. And yeah, I mean, for him to just be slotted as the guy, Ryan Bates, as the starter right now, it definitely looks like he's kind of in favor of that position.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get on the field. Torrance is going to
Yeah.
get on the field. Look,
Oh,
he should be practicing at right guard and left guard because one of those guys are going to get dinged up. And who knows if he comes in, he may never leave the starting lineup again. That's how these things happen sometimes, right? You don't. It looks like you're not going to be the starter. You get your chance with the first line, and all of a sudden, the first teamers, I should say, and all of a sudden now you never leave that starting position. So it's going to be interesting. Again, I think I totally agree with you, Jake. But I've always said Bates is not going to just give up that position, and if you beat him fair and square, give him the job.
Sure.
And I totally agree. He'll be on the field. Torrance will be on the field. Don't you worry about that.
There's something to be said, too. I mean, bringing in a rookie like Osiris Torrance, that's going to push Ryan Bates to be a better player. So I hear where you're coming from, Sean, because he's saying basically if Ryan Bates and Spencer Brown are starting, we made zero progress. I don't know if that's totally necessarily the case. There is something to be said about bringing in guys, bringing in competition that is going to help excel the guys that are ahead of them and make them better players. So I'm hoping that'll be the case here. I am optimistic, of course, like always. In my opinion, I do want to see Osiris Torrance on the field just because that was my guy coming into the whole draft and all that good stuff. And, as a second rounder who I think is a steal, maybe you do let him go through some growing pains and throw him out there in baptism by fire. I think there is two sides to that, right? So that's the other side of it. And I wouldn't be mad at that either. But I totally see where you're coming from too, Mike.
Yeah. And again, Sean, we'll find out soon. We're going to find out in preseason and when we finally get to see Torrance. Torrance can change this on a heartbeat. He goes out there and just destroys it in preseason. Guess what? That flops. That depth chart. It's unofficial. Unofficial. Don't take it too serious right now. But yeah, it's a good problem to have. I think Torrance is going to be a starter for a long time in this league and be fantastic. So we shall see. And it starts this Saturday.
I know it. Don't forget about David Edwards. That's a good name too, Brett. I appreciate you bringing that up. I mean, he was banged up last year, got absolutely bullied by us in that Rams game, but we'll give him a little bit of a pass. Now he's on the good side. He's played with Aaron Cromer before. It could be a good system for him as well, so that's another guy to look out for. Going to be an interesting battle there for sure.
Scott's out there. It's hard for me to criticize what the Bills have done on the O-line, considering what's out there. Pretty much every team is unhappy with their offensive line.
Yeah,
it seems to be the case. It does.
That's true. And Sean, I will say this. I think 2021 Ryan Bates was a pretty good player. I mean, there was a reason why we tendered him, wanted to get him back. And I'll tell you what, I was really happy that we were able to re-sign him at that time. Now, last year, of course, definitely took a step back in my opinion and in yours, of course. But I do think that he's, worthy of being on this roster, especially with his versatility.
Yeah, the Bills paid him 4 years, $17 million. He got a nice paycheck. And like I said, he can continue to be that guy.
I was excited when we re-signed him. Yeah. I love that move. Yeah.
So we'll see. Definitely not saying that Bates is better than Torrance. Maybe right now he is. Maybe. I don't know, but we'll find out soon. So anyhow, next thing I want to talk to you is that kind of covers the depth chart. I have a link in the description of the video or of the show. You've probably seen it. It's all over social media. A lot of the Bills podcasts have already talked about it, gone through it in depth. They went not only from the starters, but the second tier, the third tier. They went pretty deep on this. So it's out there, but the link, if you want a quick link and view the image, it's down there in the description. I want to get into this real quick, Jake. So I don't know if you had a chance to see the top 100 NFL players,
I did.
Which was pretty much voted by the players. And I want to go through just the top 10. I saw Trev do this on his show, from the Irish Mafia, and we just don't have time to go through all 100. But let me give you the top 10 right now, and I want to get your perspective on where you think Josh Allen should really be inside the top 10 here. So at number 10, Chris Jones of KC. At number 9, Micah Parsons. At number 8, Josh Allen. 7, Tyreek Hill. 6, Joe Burrow. 5, Travis Kelce. 4, Nick Bosa. 3, Jalen Hurts. Number 2, Justin Jefferson. Number 1, Pat Mahomes. And that's the only one I would not debate. Pat Mahomes is obviously the number one guy. So Josh Allen at number 8, my friend. What are you thinking?
It's too low. I think you flip him with Jalen Hurts, in my opinion. 3 and 8, you flip flop those. I think that is, and then after that, I'm actually okay with that list. I don't mind that at all. I think, given with what Josh Allen went through last year, he still put up really good numbers. Obviously he threw a lot of interceptions, of course, but like Jalen Hurts had a great year. He's a very good quarterback, but I'm not going to put him over Joe Burrow even. If you're going to put anyone over Joe Burrow, it's Josh Allen. So I think you flip-flop those two, and after that, I think the list is good.
You put Justin Jefferson over Josh Allen? It's hard for me to take a receiver over a quarterback because
I
of
get
how
it.
important a quarterback is.
Sure. I don't hate that. I mean, you could debate it, but I mean, Justin Jefferson is him. He is like legit.
Yeah,
he is an incredible receiver, and what he did to us, it's like unbelievable, So no, I mean, you can argue it. I think you can go either way with that. I understand your reasoning with where you can't put a receiver over a quarterback, but I think statistically, what he's done, consistency, all that good stuff, it's easier. I guess the quarterback takes a lot more blame than a receiver too. So obviously, people have been much more critical of Josh Allen than they have of Justin Jefferson, but Justin Jefferson really hasn't had a whole lot of bad moments. So I don't mind him at 2, and I think Josh at 3 would be just right.
And Joe Burrow at 6, Scott's like, I think Burrow's too low. So yes, Sean on Red, White, and Bills did a great comparison between Burrow and Allen, pretty close in their careers. And if anything, they should be right next to one another. Whether Burrow's ahead of Allen or Allen's ahead of Burrow, I don't hate that either scenario. I just think both of them should be up the board a little bit higher.
So Travis Kelce's 5. Who was 4 again?
Nick Bosa.
Okay. Yeah, maybe flip-flop Joe Burrow and Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
And I'd be all right with that. But Nick Bosa, I mean, he's unbelievable too. So
of course
it's hard, again.
It's an interesting discussion for sure. But Josh Allen being, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Hurts. I know Jalen Hurts went to the Super Bowl last year, but he had a fantastic team around him. Does that automatically make him better than Josh Allen?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I think with what Jalen Hurts has done, I mean, he's been great. And I don't hate him being in the top 10. I think he had a top 10 worthy season. But when you rank him above Josh Allen and Joe Burrow, I just don't think that adds up. I don't think he is a better quarterback than either of those two. So it's hard to put him at 3 when he's not even, he's probably a top 5 quarterback in the league. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he's top 6. There's debate on that too. So I can't put him at 3. I just think that's, you got to put Josh there.
We got Z-Bell 84. I haven't seen Z-Bell in a while. There.
He was just here. That's Ian.
Nice, Ian. Good to see you, sir. I always forget.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna see if he wanted to come on the show, but I know we got to keep it short today, so it would have been probably an hour and a half at least.
Yeah, totally agree. Allen and Burrow could be tied for 2 and 3. Yep, Scott, right there with you. And then Z-Bell coming in with Jalen is motor of efficient and consistent talent. Model of an efficient and consistent talent. Josh is just a different type of quarterback. Yeah, absolutely.
He is. And I think you're not going to find a 6'5", 237-pound quarterback that can do what Josh does, plain and simple. Like, there's no one out there that can do that.
Yeah. So good stuff. It was interesting. I mean, you should check out that top 100 if you haven't had a chance to go look at the list. They have little reasons why they believe the player is at that position or at that spot. So check it out. It's a fun read for sure. And then if you're watching this after, if you're rewatching this, not with us live, give us your thoughts on where Josh Allen should fall within the top 10. I know we're going to have some trolls out there, and he said they're going to come in there and say, Josh, he should be near the bottom. But come on, be realistic. Yeah. If you're a real football fan, tell us where you think Josh should fall in that top 10, as well as Burrow. Good stuff.
No one does more for their offense than Josh Allen. Let's put it that way. I mean, really, like, you could argue maybe Pat Mahomes, but he has Travis Kelce as a safe blanket. So, Josh, I know he has Steph, but it's different, man. Like, he has to, like, last year, he was the offense. If we don't have Josh Allen, we're not winning 13 games. We might win 6. So, I don't know. I mean, Chad Henne came in and was able to manage games for the Chiefs. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Von being snubbed is a good point there, Brett. Because I mean, look, he played what 8 games last year? I think it was 8 games, 9 games, and
I think it was actually 11.
was it 11?
Technically.
Okay,
Yeah,
if
and he had 8
it was
sacks.
that
Yeah.
many, and he had that many sacks, he was killing it. So you would think he should make that 100. I agree that there's a mistake there. And then Ryan, love it, Ryan. Good to see you. I haven't seen you out there in a while, Ryan.
Listen, I got Gatorade right now. I did have a couple beers, an hour or so ago, but trying to keep my drinking to a minimum on the week. I know that's the least Buffalonian thing I could probably say right now, but hey, we'll be back this weekend, brother. Let me tell you, we're going to Pittsburgh for a bachelor party, going to a Bills backers bar on Saturday. It's going to be unbelievable.
I did. Okay, so that reminds me. I wanted to ask you. You're going to be in Pittsburgh at a Bills backer bar. Where are you going to be able to watch the game? Because
it's
these preseason games.
I'm sure they have a way to do it. I think so. The place is called Mario's East Saloon, I believe.
Okay.
And I mean, they're a Bills backers bar, so if you're advertising that, you should have the game. If not, I'm gonna have to finagle some things.
Yeah, I'll have to figure it out because I was asking you if the NFL ticket on YouTube plays preseason, but they don't.
Right.
I know the NFL. If you signed up for the NFL package, which I think is $99 a year, you can catch the replay. They do a shortened version and then a full replay that you can check out. So I'm going to try to figure out how I can watch this out here. If anyone else has any ideas, let me know. And Ryan, yes, Jake, look at this. This is Jake's new place, his new man cave.
Check it out.
Just a couple days ago.
Here we go. My contact's bothering me, guys. I apologize too. I don't know what the hell's going on here.
I see that, but that thing's starting to take shape, Jake. Really love it.
It is. It's coming together. Let me tell you. I got the pool table back here now on the other side it's I guess to my right, to your left. I have the TV watching station. So the plan is we're going to do 6 TVs on that wall. And I have 2 couches. And then in the back there, I'm going to have all my bourbon set up. It's going to be unbelievable. Let me tell you.
All right, here. Let's see here. I wouldn't say. Let's see. I wouldn't say Hurts is more consistent. He had one good season. Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, okay, you have a great team, and he had a great year. Don't get me wrong, but like Seabell says, think of Jalen as what people wish Alex Smith could have been. But he also had a better point here. Josh Heridas. Josh can win games by taking gambles. Jalen will win games by running the offense efficiently. Yeah.
That's a very good point. Yep. I agree with that.
What we got out here from Scott? Oh, so he's saying hopefully that is on the NFL Network. Maybe they do stream.
Is that officially going to be on NFL Network? Yeah. So I saw that it was going to be aired the next day, but I don't know if they're going to actually air it on day of, because I think the day of it's just going to be on the local Channel 7 here. So if it is, I mean, that's awesome, because who doesn't want to watch the Buffalo Bills? First off, if it is a Saturday game, though, that's a good point, because I think the Saturday games, they do typically have 3 different NFL Network games. So that would be awesome, Brett.
Yeah, I love this from Ryan. Ryan says he's going to be at the game with his son, so that's very cool. Maybe he can stream live to us, Ryan.
Heck yeah, that would be awesome, man. For sure. Yeah, enjoy the game. That's going to be awesome. I think it's Kids Day too, because it's the only home game.
Yeah, that's what he said there. He's thinking he's for Kids Day.
Nice.
And hopefully.
Oh yeah, it is Kids Day. Yeah,
that'd be awesome with some video. All right, so Brett says it is triple checked. All right, awesome.
That's freaking huge, man. Thank God.
We're good to go. All right, final segment of the show. And I'm sorry, folks, we are a little strapped for time tonight. Got to get my boy to a soccer practice. We're on the West Coast, and he's got soccer practice from 7:30 to 7:30. 9. It's crazy. Working him hard. He's got a tournament coming up on Sunday. But, Jake, let's talk about the preseason game coming up this Sunday. And tell me, first of all, let's start with telling the folks, who are we not going to see in this game?
I don't think you're going to see any Josh Allen. I don't think you're going to see any Steph Diggs. You might see a little Dalton Kincaid because he's a rookie, and typically they like to get rookies out there. So maybe you'll see like a series, but I don't expect to see a whole lot from the starters. And if they follow last year's model, it was Case Keenum who started the game. So I anticipate Kyle Allen will probably start it. Matt Barkley will finish it. He'll probably have like 2.5 quarters. Kyle Allen will have a quarter and a half, maybe a half. Maybe they'll both split a half each. So yeah, I think, you're not going to see a lot of the big names or anything like that, but I am very intrigued to see what happens on the defensive side of the ball. because there is a lot of battles going on for the depth roles. So you look at linebacker as a position, you look at corner, you look at D-line even. Shane Ray, been hearing a lot of great things about him, so you expect to see him on the field. I think that's going to be super fun to watch. I'm really, 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 really excited to see what happens at those front 7 positions, or I should say front 6 for us.
Zebo says maybe James Cook. What do you think at that running back position? He's only
no,
a second-year
I don't.
guy.
Yeah, no, maybe. I wouldn't be surprised about that. I mean, maybe. That's another position group that is really going to be shaped out, I think, in the preseason too. I think James Cook is going to be the guy, and he'll be the main load of the carries this year. But it's like Damian Harris, Latavius Murray. You know, he's got Darrington Evans too, but he's going to be mainly a return guy. Jordan Mims, who I mentioned, Mike. So expect to see more of those guys in this preseason
All right.
game.
So what are you most interested in? This is your favorite time of the year.
What
are you most interested in seeing during the preseason games?
I just love, there's nothing better than watching some hard-fought position battles between men that are out there grinding for their livelihoods. It's a beautiful thing. A position group that we really haven't talked about, too, is the receiver group, and I can't wait to see Justin Shorter play because there's been so much hype surrounding him. Haven't heard a whole lot in the preseason here, during camp and whatnot, but really, really excited to see him strap it up and go out there.
What about the young guy from San Diego who's been getting some good
Tyrell Shavers? Yeah.
So
I mean, he's
fun to see him.
Big guy too, Mike. Another 6'4" receiver, fast, really
fast.
athletic. I mean, got a hell of a freaking, radius for catching footballs. It's really exciting signing.
I think he runs in the 4.3s or something. I think
he's a high 4.3 guy. Yeah,
that's
high
crazy.
4.3 guy.
That's crazy. And with that height, you know me, man. I love that the Bills have gotten bigger. We got Kincaid, they got Shorter, and I mean, my goodness, this is going to be fun. It's going to be fun. What
Absolutely.
else? So you talked about the receivers. You talked about, again, there probably won't be many first teamers out there, but I'm sure the linebacker situation that we talked about, the cornerbacks that we talked about, those cornerback twos, they're going to be out there competing to finalize.
Can't wait to see my boy Dorian Williams take the field. I'll tell you that. It's going to be awesome.
He could change things.
He may start
too.
the game. He actually may start the game at that will linebacker position.
I think so. I mean, Milano's not going to see the field till probably the final preseason game, maybe one series. I think that's what they did last year, right? And the final game is when we first saw Josh. I think he played 1 or 2 series.
Was it the final one or was it the second game? I thought it was the second game.
I don't know.
And then the last game they didn't. Yeah.
Oh, you think in the last game they didn't play him at all?
That's typically what it's been in the past. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I'm most interested. I mean, all the battles that we talked about, it's going to be fun to see that. It's going to be fun to see Torrance and Bates out there. Or, probably we might just see Torrance. This Bates, like you said, you all want to protect the Bates. Maybe it's Torrance out there the whole time and just
throw him to the wolves. Baptism by fire.
Right,
This is let them work out the kinks. Have some growing pains. This is the time to do it.
Yeah, Z-Bell says Shane Ray resurgence would be huge. Receiver group would be the most fun to watch. Yeah. And I'm also interested in can these backup quarterbacks move the ball? That's what.
Yeah, right.
I mean, there's been so much talk out of camp of how bad they've looked. It's a little scary, but let's see it now. We get to finally see it in preseason. It's tough in camp because, look, Jake, we know they're wearing pads. They're not wearing pads. They're trying not to hurt their teammates. No one wants to get injured. And so now we get to see it. Now we get to see them playing against another team and playing – with some decent players. Sometimes they get out there with the third stringers. Who knows? And they'll be out there with the third stringers, of course.
What was it last year too? The Bills had the longest preseason winning streak up until they lost that last game against the Panthers. I think it was like 13 straight games they had won in the preseason. Wow. Yeah. So that was a fun storyline last year. Of course, now we're starting fresh this year. So let's start up that winning streak again, even though it is preseason. Matt Barkley led some great drives last year. It was the one against the Colts where got us that game-winning drive. He killed it, absolutely killed it in the second half. People were calling for Case Keenum's head.
Yeah, I mean, Marv Levy wasn't focused on winning preseason games. Like, he wanted to see what the guys could do. And, whether the Bills, and back then I think we had 4 preseason games. So whether they were 1-3 or 0-4, you just knew they were going to be, have a good team, especially 89 through the 90s. But yeah, so what do we got out there? Got to protect top 3 guard in the NFL, Bates. Absolutely. Top 3 guard, top 3 center, top 3 tackle.
That's right. I freaking love it, man.
Wow.
That's funny.
Yeah, we're going to tell Bates to sit on the bench, buddy. Watch Torrance take your job.
There we go.
Looking forward to seeing the new edition suit up. Yeah, so it's going to be fun. I mean, that's kind of all I have. I have the camp battles that we already talked about, the quarterback, the backup quarterbacks move the ball. It is going to be interesting to see if Cook does play. If Cook doesn't play, I already know Damon Harris won't play because I hear he's banged up and he's day-to-day. So that could be a lot of Latavius Murray in there. Reggie Gilliam getting a lot of play, maybe at running back. Who else we got at the running back position who could play? Because
I mentioned Darrington Evans. So we got him from the Titans. He was a former 3rd-round pick for them. They eventually thought he was going to be the successor for Derrick Henry. If he got banged up, it would be more of a rotational role or, whatever. They thought he was going to be something special. And unfortunately, it just didn't really work out for him there. So he comes to us and, he's going to be working as a returner, I think. You might see him a little bit on offense, but that's one guy. And then the other guy who I mentioned, Jordan Mims, who could be like the Raheem Blackshear of this year from Fresno State. I'm a huge fan of him. I like him a lot. He's a very normal size back. Nothing too spectacular there, but man, I mean, his jump cut and his ability to, I think the most impressive thing with him is his eyes, his vision. And that's something you really can't teach at the running back position. So I expect to see him shine in the preseason a little bit for us.
Yeah, I'm excited to see
it. And I can't wait for you to clip that out and we play it in like
I know, we did it last year, man. When you called Blackshear, I was like, oh my gosh, did Jake just predict the future? He absolutely did. What by the way, Blackshear, I know he's picked up by, was it Carolina?
Yeah, Carolina. Yeah, he scored a couple touchdowns last year too, actually.
Is he expected to be a starter for them this year? What's his situation?
I know that he changed his number to 3.
Okay.
I think he's the backup running back right now, I want to say.
Okay.
So, yeah, actually, let me look. If we go to our lads, yeah, I mean, last year he had 23 carries, 77 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Which, hey, he scored 3 touchdowns. That's pretty damn good as a rookie, as a guy that was written off, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, time will tell with that one.
We're 1 injury away, a running back from Jake being a backup. Jake.
All right, I wouldn't say that.
See, he always says that. I wouldn't say that. He played football. I asked him the other day I did want to ask you this. How far, 7-step drop, Jake, how far can you throw a football?
Maybe 40 yards.
40 yards?
Maybe.
Boy, that arm, what happened? You're a big, strong guy.
Yards. You know what? I was never really good at throwing the football. I was more so, catching the ball, Mike. That was my forte.
Okay.
Much better at that.
I'm a smaller guy. Before, I went through my struggles, I could throw the ball 40 yards easily. So I had a pretty good arm. I had a pretty good arm, man.
All right.
But I feel like I thought you were going to tell me 50. But
hey, I don't know about that.
In this Bills offense, Josh, see, I called you Josh. Sorry, I did it again.
Yeah.
No,
I love
Bills
it. Keep going.
Offense, Jake, you just need to throw the ball 10, 20 yards. You're going to be good.
That's right. Every time. 10-yard completions. First down every time, baby. I love it.
What's he say? We've got Miles Sanders and Hubbard, too.
Yeah, so he's competing with Chuba Hubbard for that backup spot. Yeah, I don't know if he'll probably be the 3rd back there, realistically.
Jake used to be all-time quarterback outside. That was
I was. I always wanted to be a quarterback growing up, and then I played offensive line. So I started at center in like 7th grade. Then I went and played tackle for a little bit. Then I went and played tight end, and then I went and played receiver. So I started with the big boys, worked my way to receiver, worked my way more outside as I went throughout my years. Pretty interesting. Sounds like Mike needs to take his son.
I gotta roll. I got the little boy saying, "Dad, we're late. We gotta speed over to practice here." So,
all right.
Anyhow, hey, listen, get into the giveaway. Like I said, drop a comment after the show. Any of our shows where you see Jake and I, you have to see Jake and I on the screen. Could have guests, doesn't matter. Drop a comment if you're interested in the Madden 24. Whatever the comment is, make sure it includes Madden. Jake's 1 concussion away from being the channel.
Amen to that, brother.
Yeah. And again, if you're new to the channel, please like, comment, and drop a nickel on that subscribe button. We greatly appreciate it. The giveaway will be announced on our Sunday show, which is, again, 8/20. So we're only, a couple of weeks away from that, week and a half. So good stuff there. Can't wait to see who wins that. So thank all of you.
Yeah.
Thank you all, and we'll see you soon. Let's go here. Let's end with a very fun little outro. Here we go.
Go Bills.
Oh.
Mafia, circling a wagon, you feel me? Nickel City Mafia, let's go!
Josh Allen, quarterback supreme, leading the Bills to the top of the league. Weapons by his side, and that defense hella mean. Buffalo's got a team that must be seen. I said Buffalo's got a team that must be seen. Yeah. Come on. J17 leading the charge. Buffalo Bills on the rise. Passing game on point. Ain't no mirage. Happening right in your eyes. Ain't no surprise. Buffalo stacking the QB. Stephon Diggs holding in the pass. Group cars in, have to go deep. We're circling wagon, just wait and see. From Wyoming to the NFL, Josh Allen's got the skills. Air raid, deep ball, touchdown to a real. Leading the Bills to playoff drills. Real time, this ain't no drill. Cold game, we're giving them chills. Check the score, now you know the deal.
Nickel City Mafia.